Hello, and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for July of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening this month for you. Happy birthday, Leo. If you haven't scheduled your yearly birthday reading yet, there's still time to do it before your birthday, which is the most powerful time to do it. This lets you ritualize your personal New Year's moment and jump into your new year empowered to make it the best one ever. It also comes with fantastic affirmations you can use all year to create your best life. You'll find a link for it in the description below. Well, Ceres is traveling along through Libra all month. Right here she is in your third house. She's not too happy to be in the third house, but she has to be there sometime. And she is all about creating good order in your life and a collected way of being in your body. So she likes you to be embodied and to be running good routines for your health and for your diet and eating in ways that feel good to your body, going all the way through your body, not just when they hit your tongue and your brain. And she likes you to have your finances organized. But when she travels through the third house is a house of the mind. It's Mercury's house. It's a house of the brain and thinking and reasoning and logic and rationality and strategy. And so when Ceres travels through this house, it wouldn't be surprising if you find yourself overthinking it about these things, like coming up with a dietary plan that is just so rational, that just makes so much sense and fits together so beautifully, but is completely untenable in the real world. So watch out for that. When you make your plans, don't set your expectations higher than you can actually do. You might need to do things more gradually. You might need to slow down the action. It might just, it might be that this abstract plan that you've come up with is just too abstract to be concretized in the real world. So, and that can apply to body and diet. It can equally apply to finances and money. So that's something to think about with Ceres in your third house. Ceres is going to spend all month in this house and will be in this house until mid-September. But on July 15th, a wonderful thing is happening, which is that Ceres is leaving this year's retrograde span. And here's what I mean. Way back in February, Ceres turned retrograde at this place in Libra, 6 degrees. She turned retrograde here, at which point I declared, oh, we're in a financial rebalancing period. And so everybody went into a state of needing to bring some better balance to our finances, our diets, and so forth. And things got a little messy, and some stuff was uncovered that needed to be fixed, needed to be reorganized, needed to be rebalanced or managed better. And we got into a lot of the details about that. And then come May, Ceres turned direct, and things were already getting better at that point. But at this point, even though it's been a couple of months more, I just want to let you know that you are out of the woods, and whatever you figured out and whatever you confronted and dealt with in the messes of your finances or your food in the springtime, now you can go on from here feeling like your plan is probably going to work. And you can make plans. So that's a really good thing. Even though Ceres is in the third house and you want to keep your plans grounded instead of too abstract, this is still a really great day. So Juno is traveling along through the sign of Cancer all month. Juno is really a social creature, and she's going to be here in this house until mid-August. She is the asteroid goddess to do with marriage and committed partnerships of all kinds, whether for business or personal reasons. And she wants you to collaborate and bring a sense of partnership wherever she goes. But, and here's the rub, she's in the 12th house, which is a house of solitude and spiritual retreat. So you might want to take a little break from your relationship, which doesn't have to mean a separation. I'm not telling you to have a separation if that's not, really where you're at right now, but you might want to take a little time on your own, apart from your relationship, and find your own space of solitude in which to get clear on what you feel and what you know on the inside. And another possible use of this Juno in your 12th house is that you might find yourself communing with your partner more in the spiritual sense and doing spiritual practices together and feeling that sense of connection that transcends our physical life alone. And that can have a great deal of sweetness to it. I want to talk now about Chiron, which is traveling along through the sign of Aries and in your 9th house. Chiron is the wounded healer, and Chiron spends a long time in Aries. Of all of the signs in the zodiac that Chiron passes through, which would be all of them, it spends the longest in Aries and Pisces. It spends 7 years in each of these signs. So Chiron is in the slow part of its 50-year orbit. And so Chiron traveling through Aries brings up old wounds around a self-assertion, around honesty and directness, both giving it and receiving it. Sometimes the truth is hard to hear. Sometimes it's hard to deliver. And also Aries has to do with anger and aggression. So Chiron, being the wounded healer, tends to bring us experiences that trigger old wounds and bring them up to the surface where we can heal them and see them and do something about them. So, but often this experience of an old wound being triggered will masquerade as a new wound being laid in the present moment. So it's not at all surprising, as Chiron is traveling along through the sign of Aries over a 7-year period, to have some experiences in which you feel that you have been wounded and that you must defend yourself. You must protect yourself. You must assert yourself, and that you're feeling a lot of anger about it. That wouldn't be surprising, but because it's Chiron, it is so important to look inside yourself and to look deeper underneath the surface of this present time experience and ask yourself, could this actually be a trigger of something older, something deeper, something from my childhood, some old trauma perhaps that is ready now to be healed and has hit the surface where I can see it? And how much truer this can be when Chiron goes retrograde, which it will do and does every year, but which it will do this year on July 23rd. So on the day that Chiron goes retrograde, it takes us on an inward journey to discover, what is that old wounding? How can it be healed? How can I have my assertion in a more balanced way so that I can defend and protect myself without having to be overly aggressive or pushy or demanding, without running people over? And how can I have anger as a healthy thing that supports me and helps me and protects me, but without, morphing into, rage beastness? And this particular Chiron is traveling along through your 9th house. So this is where Chiron's going to do its retrograde journey this year. The 9th house is a house of the higher mind. This is the domain of higher education, avenues of growth and expansion. This is the house of the seeker, the philosopher that seeks to understand the bigger meaning behind things and the context in which things are happening. This is the house of worldview and the resilience that we get from having a worldview that can explain life's experiences to us. And so this wounding and healing journey for you this year might have something to do with your very philosophy of life, whether that's derived from a religion that you grew up in or a religion that you're a part of in your adult life, or whether that's just part of a philosophy that you've crafted or put together for your own self. Any way you look at it, Chiron could bring up some old wounding that makes you feel angry and makes you want to shake your fist at God and say, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do innocent children end up traumatized? Why did that happen to me? And how can I understand it in a bigger and broader way to effect some powerful healing for myself? So this is a big one. Hey, Julia, what's up with the inner planets for the Leos of the world this month?
Oh, hey there, Leo. All right, let's start with the most challenging one first, and that's Mars. So Mars, the planet of action and activity, also anger, starts the month in your first house, and it's only there for the first 10 days. But when Mars is in the first, this is the house of self. So any planet here, you really, really directly embody that month. And with Mars here, you could be a lot more assertive, maybe a bit pushier, maybe even more quick to express your anger with Mars in the first house. That's definitely the lower side. The higher side is being able to stand up for yourself and being able to have good boundaries, as well as maybe getting active, working out, going back to the gym, whatever you need to do or whatever activity you find fun. By July 10th, Mars is going to enter your second house where he's going to be for the rest of the month. And this is a house of money. With Mars in the second, we feel super motivated to earn more money. The activity of the month, especially when it comes to like where your drive is going to be on earning more. So maybe that means trying to expand your business in some way, wanting to find ways to ask your boss for a raise. But you can also want to possess a lot more with Mars in the second house. So that could mean you might want to shop. You might want to spend more money on luxury items. And that's all well and good, except Mars in the second house can be super impulsive. So try to, don't buy things right away. Try to sit on it for a few days. Try to get a return policy with Mars in the second house for the rest of the month. The next planet I want to talk about is Mercury. Mercury is moving super, super fast. It's going to be in 3 different houses this month. It starts off in the 12th house, and this is a house of isolation. So when Mercury is in the 12th, you might be a little bit more, prone to keeping your ideas to yourself, not sharing things as easily with Mercury in the 12th. Mercury in the 12th house is a wonderful placement for things like meditation and dream work, because the 12th house is a very ethereal place. It's also a great placement if you want to do any fantasy writing or you have writing to do on your own. Then on July 10th, Mercury moves into the first house, and this is the house of self. It's the same day Mars moves out of here, Mercury moves into here. So Mercury in the first house means that it's a big shift from Mercury in the 12th, because you'll be a lot more willing to share your ideas, to be outspoken with Mercury in the first. And you can really impress other people with your mind with Mercury in the first house, because you will be more articulate too. And then by the very end of the month, July 28th, Mercury enters the second house where he will be joining Mars. And Mercury in the second is going to be a lot more prone to thinking about money, strategizing, planning with money. Mercury is the planet of buying and selling. Many salespeople have very strong Mercuries in their charts. So you might want to just sort of reappraise all the things you have and sort of make some decisions about buying and selling. However, Mars is in there, so just be a little bit patient before you reach any quick conclusions. Then finally, Venus is in your first house. She's going to be in this house all month and beyond, because she's about to do a whole retrograde cycle here. Now, this happens once every 2 years or so, so it's significant. And with Venus, she represents beauty. She represents our relationships. And when she's in the first house, you might feel like you are identifying a lot with your relationships, identifying a lot with your partner. Now, when she goes retrograde on the 22nd, this is a time of relationship review for all of us. And having this take place in the first house may mean that you might be reviewing who you are as an individual in the context of your relationship. Do you feel at times a bit eclipsed by your partner? Are you identifying too much with your relationship that who are you without your relationship? Leo is a very, very loyal sign, and sometimes can be loyal almost out of habit. So, if you're letting yourself just kind of always identify with the other partner too much, you might feel a little bit sort of maybe not heard enough, which to you, Leo, is just the worst of the worst of who you are as an individual. Now, this is also the house of your outward appearance. And when Venus goes retrograde, it's generally not a good idea to make changes to one's appearance. So that would include tattoos, piercings, cosmetic work, getting your hair done.
Oh boy.
I know. And that's going to be especially important for you, Leo. Like, this is a time where do not do anything drastic with your looks. Do not think that you're gonna walk out and you really want to get, I don't know, like Botox all over your face for the first time. And because you really might regret it. You might have to sort of go back and review what you've done and have to redo what you've done. So just kind of hold off. If you do some routine things, like just get the same nail manicure every month, that's totally fine, but just don't do any drastic changes to your appearance right now. That is definitely the best advice I can give until the retrograde cycle will be over.
Hi, Jamie here. Horoscopes and moon videos are fascinating, but they're more general than personal. Did you know we run live workshops monthly and that you can get questions answered about your own chart there? This month's topic is harvesting your Jupiter luck, and in it you can find out when is the next time you'll have money luck, career luck, or relationship luck, or even a period of personal charisma that makes you especially persuasive and attractive to opportunity like a magnet. This workshop is expressly for our Tier 2 Patreon subscribers. It's easy to sign up at the Patreon link in the description below. I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to the video.
Well, for months now, we have been having 2 moons. I mean, we always have 2 moons per month, but we've been having one easy moon and then one moon that's difficult each month. But this month, both moons feature a lot of harmony, I'm really happy to say. The first one is the full moon in Capricorn happening on July 3rd. It lands in your 6th house. We're calling this one Grow Your Emotional Intelligence. It features a lot of emotional intelligence because of these placements in Cancer and the way that they trine this gorgeous Saturn in Pisces. So there's so much sort of self-contained emotionality and warmth implicit in this full moon. And it's also balanced with a lot of insight and intelligence in the form of this moon right here. Really, I think there's a better view of it on July 2nd, even though the moon itself is happening on the 3rd. Here you see the moon in the earlier degrees of Capricorn. It trines Jupiter. It sextiles Saturn. Really good stuff there. So there's so much potential for wisdom and growth and using your intuition without letting it run away with you. So this one is super sweet. And then the second moon this month, oh, you know what? I didn't mention what it means that this moon is landing in your 6th house. Well, the 6th house is work, health, service, personal organization. It's a house where we get it together, where we create the systems that make life run, both personally and professionally. And the moon there suggests that you get a lot of nurture and you get a lot of support, and you can give a lot of support too in that arena this month. And also the opposition to the Sun and Mercury and Juno over here in your 12th house, they're pulling you into solitude. And so there's this balancing act going on between how emotionally self-contained you can be at work and how very much in service but needing to balance that with time on your own where you can relax, retreat, withdraw, and rejuvenate yourself, by bathing in the sacred waters of intuition and dream and imagination and even fantasy. So this moon is pretty lovely, and you can find out a lot more about it on our website, pandoraastrology.com. On the forecast tab where the video is for this moon and the second moon this month, which is coming up on the 17th. That one is a new moon in Cancer, also a very intuitive moon, a new moon implying rebirth, the planting of seeds, which happens in the dark, in a space of mystery. We don't see things growing right away, even though it may well be happening. And this has even more of a feeling of mystery, a deeper feeling of mystery by virtue of this new moon happening in your 12th house, that house of dreams and imaginings, that house of spirit and the otherworldly. So this moon, we're calling it brilliant psychic insights. And I think that you, Leo, are going to be able to get some even more brilliant psychic insights than the average person under this moon, because of the way this sun and moon lands in your 12th house. And you just have to slow down, sit quietly, and listen to the small voice within, which is not easy for you to do, Leo, right? I mean, you're a bundle of energy, and this is going to require you to be quiet and listen inwardly. And I think that you get a lot of benefit from doing that under this moon. There is definitely some stress with Pluto. So wouldn't be surprising if you feel a little bit oppressed at work under this moon. And also there is a square to Chiron, which can result in the triggering of some of that old wounding that I was talking about at the beginning of this horoscope. But there's beautiful harmony involving Neptune and Uranus, and really all three water planets are very involved in this moon. The moon itself in its own sign strengthened thereby, trine Neptune, the dreamer and visionary, and opposed Pluto, which is about depth and intensity and can bring us into deeper, intimate connectedness with others. And even while it's, it might be revealing some stuff that's uncomfortable to look at. So there's a lot to this moon, and there is some stress for sure, but there's more harmony than stress. So the last thing I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. The sun begins your month traveling along through the 12th house, which is to say that your yearly mop-up period is already underway at the beginning of this month. That is the 30-day period before your birthday, and much of it will probably happen inside the sign of Cancer. And as the sun is traveling through your 12th house, whether you're a Leo rising or a Leo sun, you'll have that feeling of ending, of closure, and of the muddiness that can come with that. This is a time of your year when it's really important to let the old go and allow the new to spring forth. And that's because at this time of year, the themes of your previous birthday year are fading out. And this is particularly true if you're a sun in Leo, although it is true if you're a Leo rising. It's a time for letting go of the themes of your previous year and allowing the themes of your new year to crop up and beginning to pay attention to them before they even happen. And then as the sun moves into your first house, there is this amazing burst of energy that happens. And for the 30 days that the sun is traversing your first house, and the sun is your planet, Leo, right? You're the one who gets to have a star as your ruling planet. And doesn't that just say everything, right? So as the sun is traveling along through your first house, it's really time to receive the attention and the accolades and to express the joy and the big-hearted qualities embedded in your nature. It's time to be seen. It's time to shine. And so have that big birthday party. Let yourself be noticed, and let people reflect to you what they like the best about you and your sunny personality. So this is a great 30 days to spend focused on yourself. It's the best 30 days of the whole year for doing that. And being yourself and letting your year be, the direction of your year be determined by the direction that your feet are already going.
Well, that's all for today. If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, then please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share our horoscopes with your friends.
You can find out so much more about how this month's transits affect you in very personal timing in our monthly Patreon workshops. Find the link in the description below to get started. Enjoy your summer, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.